Hello, my friend. Welcome to English Vids.
A new chapter in my life. My name is Sophie, and I am 26 years old. I live in a cozy apartment near the center of town. I work as a nurse in a busy city hospital, where every day is different and full of surprises, both happy and sad. Most people say I'm a caring and patient person, but in truth, I am still learning a lot about myself. I grew up in a small town, the oldest child in my family. When I was 16, my father died suddenly of a heart attack, and my world changed overnight. My mother worked long hours to look after me and my little brother Daniel, who was only 8 at the time. The house always felt a bit empty after Dad was gone. But I tried to be strong for Daniel and support my mom as much as I could. During my high school years, I spent more time at home than most girls my age. While my friends went out and had fun, I was helping Daniel with his homework, cooking dinner, or cleaning the house. I didn't complain. I loved my family. But sometimes I wondered what life would be like if my father were still here. If I could make more choices for myself. When I finished school, I decided to become a nurse like my mother. I admired her kindness and gentle nature. I knew I wanted to help people and make a real difference, even if that meant hard work and long hours. During university, I studied hard and made a few close friends, but I was always focused on my responsibilities back home. After graduation, I got my first job at the city hospital, and I was proud, but also a little scared. The hospital was big and noisy, and I saw many people who were suffering or alone. At times, the sadness of patients and families was difficult to bear. There were nights when I went home crying, but there were also many moments of joy when patients recovered or thanked me for a kind word or gentle touch. As time passed, my friends from university moved on, some to new cities, others to different countries. Sometimes I felt left behind, like my life wasn't moving forward. I didn't travel much, and although I enjoyed my work, I often put others before myself, especially Daniel, who was now finishing high school and dreaming of studying abroad. One winter evening, my best friend Emma called me with exciting news. She had found a job in Australia and wanted me to visit her. At first, I laughed and said she was crazy. But Emma insisted, "Sophie, you need an adventure. You need to live." Her words stayed in my mind. For days, I felt like there was a battle inside me. I worried about leaving my mother and Daniel, about traveling so far, about being alone in a new country. Deep down, I was scared of stepping outside the small world I had built to protect myself. One evening, after dinner, I told my mother everything. She smiled, touched my hand, and said, "Sophie, you have always been strong for us. Now it's time to be strong for yourself. Go, see the world, find your own life." Her words surprised me. Daniel and I talked too. He promised to help Mom while I was away. The next day, I bought my first ever plane ticket and started planning the trip. Emma sent me messages full of excitement and tips about Australia. And I watched videos and practiced my English. The night before my flight, I barely slept from nervousness. The moment I stepped off the plane in Sydney, a wave of hot, humid air hit me. Everything felt new and different. The smells, the sounds, the people rushing past. Emma met me at the airport with a huge hug. We laughed, cried, and screamed. My adventure had begun. For the first week, everything was exciting and scary at the same time. We visited famous places: the Opera House, Bondi Beach, the Royal Botanic Garden. We ate food I had never tasted: fresh seafood, sweet tropical fruits, barbecue in the park. At night, Emma took me to music clubs and outdoor movies. Sometimes I would sit quietly, watching people talk and laugh in English, feeling shy about my own accent and vocabulary. But Emma pushed me to speak, and soon I found the courage to ask for coffee, order food, or talk to strangers. One day, Emma had to go to work, and I decided to explore the city by myself. I tried to take a bus, but I got off at the wrong stop and got completely lost. My phone died, and for a moment, I felt panic rising inside me. But I reminded myself of my mother's words: "You're stronger than you think." I walked into a small local shop and asked for help. A woman kindly showed me the way and even told me a shortcut through a beautiful park. That small act of kindness taught me it's okay to ask for help, and people are often friendlier than we think. As days passed, my English improved, and I began to feel more confident. I made new friends from different countries, went on hikes in the Blue Mountains, and swam in the ocean for the first time. I felt alive, free, and young, feelings I hadn't allowed myself to have for years. During my trip, I often spoke to my mother and Daniel by video call. My mother told me she was proud of me, and Daniel made me laugh with stories from home. I realized that while my family needed me, I also needed to live for myself. One weekend, Emma and I went on a road trip to the Gold Coast. We saw koalas and kangaroos, learned to surf, and sang to loud music in the car. One night, under the stars on the beach, Emma said, "Sophie, you're not the same girl who came here 2 weeks ago. You look happy." She was right. For the first time, I felt light, as if I had taken off a heavy coat I wore for too long. Not everything was easy. There were days I missed home and felt lonely in a foreign city. Once, I dropped my wallet and had to find a police station to report it. Another time, I was sick and had to go to a doctor alone. Each challenge made me realize just how much I was capable of. With each problem, I learned that I could trust myself to manage, that I didn't have to be perfect, and that it's okay to make mistakes. When my month in Australia was almost over, I started to reflect on my life. I thought about what I wanted for myself, not just for my family or my work, but for my own happiness. I promised myself that when I returned home, I would make some changes. On my last night, Emma and I climbed a small hill overlooking the ocean. The sky was full of stars. I thanked her for believing in me and giving me the push I needed. "You did this yourself," she replied with a smile. "Now go and live how you want." I returned home full of energy and new ideas. At the hospital, I took a course to become a team leader, and I started joining my colleagues for social events instead of always rushing home. I helped Daniel apply for university abroad and encouraged my mother to take more time for herself. I even joined a local dance class, a dream I'd had since I was a child, but had been too shy to try. I learned that living for others is important, but living for yourself is just as important. My journey taught me that the world is wide and beautiful, and there is so much more to experience. Now, when I look back at the girl who was afraid to get on a plane, I feel proud of how far I've come. I want to keep growing, exploring, and challenging myself. I understand that fear will always be there, but now I know how to move forward despite it. This is my story, a story of responsibility, fear, courage, and most of all, hope. If you are reading this and feel stuck or afraid of change, remember, you are braver than you believe, and it's never too late to start a new chapter.